Coming up on Newsnight, when politics and sports collide, what one player is saying about his decision Sunday.
Plus, a Pittsburgh staple celebrates a milestone. See what makes this year's great race special.
And we'll bring you up to date on national and international headlines. All this and more on Newsnight. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Brianna McCall alongside Sarah Gibson. We begin tonight with a call from the headlines. During Sunday's football game with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Chicago Bears, the Steelers decided not to step foot on the field during the national anthem after President Trump blasted the NFL. Trump scolded the NFL on Twitter stating, quote, "If NFL fans refuse to go to games until players stop disrespecting our flag and country, you will see change take place fast. Fire or suspend," end quote. Coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, explains that this isn't an act of disrespect, but it is to remove themselves from the situation. He said, quote, "For us as a football team, it's about us remaining solid. We're not going to be divided by anyone said by anything," end quote. All players locked arms in the locker room except for one player, Alejandro Villanueva, who says he now regrets his solo stand for apologizes for embarrassing his teammates. His intentions were to show respect to the flag, being a former Army Ranger, and not to make his teammates look bad. The Chicago Bears also stood alongside of the field, locked arms in solidarity against President Trump's decision. This former protest started last year after former 49ers player Colin Kaepernick took knee during the national anthem because of wrongdoings from the country. Officials say that Trump approved the locking of the arms, but kneeling during the national anthem was unacceptable.
Turning from the gridiron to the finish line, the 40th annual Great Race took place this past weekend. More than 15,000 people lined up at the intersection of Beechwood Boulevard and Dallas Avenue on Sunday to take part in the Richard S. Caligari City of Pittsburgh Great Race, named after the former Pittsburgh mayor. Caligari established the race in 1977 as a community fun run. Now, after 40 years, what started as a small community event has turned into the largest 10-kilometer race in Pennsylvania. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, this race was one of the hottest in years, with 3 people needing to be hospitalized for heat-related injuries throughout the day. The race was also attended by 21 Perfect Great Racers, a group of participants who have taken part in every great race to date. Proceeds for the event all go to the Richard S. Caligari Amyloidosis Fund, which supports medical care and research for finding a cure for amyloidosis. Caligari died of the condition in 1988. Current Mayor Bill Peduto made a statement declaring last Sunday as Richard S. Caligari Day.
When we return, President Trump announced a new travel ban. See what countries are named.
And the latest on Sunday's shooting in Tennessee. The details next.
This and more on the other side of the break.
What would you do to create something that could survive 1,000 years? You'd start with a formula, head to the lab, and forge it with fire. Just imagine everything it could do. It could leak pollutants into the soil and water, or it could conserve energy, cut CO2 emissions, and reduce raw material. Recycling is more than cutting waste. Recycling is about the legacy you want to leave. Why on earth would you want to do anything else? Recycle. Don't throw away our chance at survival.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Croup alongside Jess Popichak. Tonight we begin with
The mayor is continuing to deal with the challenges the city is facing.
But tomorrow we have just a little bit of cloudiness. We have
off throughout the day with some strong wind gusts. That's going to continue tomorrow. 20
Teams have already started talking to free agents. Saturday's partly cloudy, but 70 degrees? Where is the pool at? I mean, come on.
You might have already burned your bracket, ripped it up,
I am Royce Jones.
And I'm Casey Julian.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight, Virginia.
UView Television is live here at the Center for Media Innovation with a very exclusive interview with Point Park's Black Diamond, our school mascot. We're taking questions on our social media at UView Television.
Our first question came in from @PointParkU Black Diamond. They want to know, what is one thing you love about Point Park?
UView.
I
feel
knew
that.
it.
UView's the best.
It is. All right, Alex, you want to read our next question?
Okay, we have another question from Point Park Cab. They're asking, when is the next time you're going to make a surprise appearance at their next event?
He's being coy. Looks like we're going to have to show up.
Yeah,
to
I
the
guess
event
we'll have to
now.
see.
All right, that's all we have for right now, but you can submit your own questions at UView Television, and we might read one of yours after the break.
One person was killed and 7 more wounded after a shooting in a church in Antioch, Tennessee this past Sunday, according to the New York Times. Police identified the gunman as 25-year-old Emmanuel K. Sampson of Rutherford County, Tennessee. Sampson was a legal resident of the United States, originally from Sudan. According to police, he attended the church a year or two prior. However, his motive is still unclear. After leaving some troubling messages on social media an hour before the incident, Sampson pulled up to the church holding 2 guns and wearing a neoprene mask. Sampson then proceeded to shoot 39-year-old Melanie Smith, once in the back and once in the head. He then entered the church, where he proceeded to terrorize members, even throwing one elderly man to the ground. Sampson was apprehended by police after an usher helped keep the gunman under control until they arrived.
Turning to foreign relations, the Trump administration revealed the new travel ban restrictions on 8 countries that will start next month. Venezuela, Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen have been added to the list, but some suspensions vary depending on the country. According to CNN, this will take place beginning on October 18th, which gives some time for people to travel in and out of before regulations take place. After this release of the details, Trump tweeted, quote, "Making America is safe is my #1 priority. We will not admit those into our country we cannot safely vet," end quote. This new immigration system is to protect the safety of our country during this terrorism era. The previous ban on foreign nationals limited entry into the country unless they had a bona fide relationship with a person in the country. Individuals can still apply for visas with the exception of the bona fide relationship until October 18th. These regulations do allow some travelers to pass, though, as long as they undergo screening and vetting requirements during their travel process.
When we return, how the political landscape of Germany could be changing.
Plus, weird scientists say the next large volcanic eruption could take place.
And we'll have Josh Croup in the studio to bring us up to speed on the latest news in the sport world. We'll be right back.
I shouldn't have to pay to walk down the street. Pay with my comfort, my freedom, my peace. Always on guard, on edge, off limits. Don't follow me, don't touch me, don't treat me like I'm yours. I don't need your whistles, your comments, your eyes. I already know I'm a prize. My confidence isn't for sale. Respect me, don't inspect me.
And when people ask us who can join UView, the answer really is anybody, and we mean anybody. Any major, any experience level. Some people, have a lot of experience coming out of high school, and others don't know how to really sit on a couch properly, and that's okay. We're here just to give you the chance to learn and have fun and prepare yourself for the real world. College, after all, it's all about trying new things.
After multiple hurricanes and earthquakes that occurred this year, Indonesia is up next for a volcanic eruption. Mount Agung, a 10,000-foot peak in Bali, might erupt for the first time in 50 years. People on the Indonesian island have evacuated from their homes after a level 4 warning took place. Geologists say the seismic activity is increasing and has the potential to erupt. The country has warned tourists and citizens to avoid any outdoor events that take place near the volcano. So far, 9 airports in the region have prepared for redirecting flights as a precaution of the volcanic eruption. Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption that left 2,000 dead and destroyed nearly all the villages. Villagers have relocated or been placed in a temporary shelter that keeps them out of threatened areas. According to CNN, warning banners have been placed around the region to prevent people from entering a volcanic hazard zone.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been re-elected for a fourth term. According to United Press International, after leading Germany for over 12 years, the Chancellor received 33% of the vote and won with the Christian Democratic Union. About 61.5 million citizens came to 88,000 polling places from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening to vote on the new Chancellor of Germany. While 33% of the vote did get her elected for a fourth term, it is also her worst performance in an election in years, including the 2013 election, in which she won by 41.5%. This also comes with the news of the first right-wing nationalists being elected into German parliament. The party started gaining traction in 2015 after Chancellor Merkel allowed almost 100,000 undocumented refugees into the country, many of them from Muslim countries such as Syria. The Social Democrats had the next highest percentage of votes with 20.5%, and the Nationalists came in third with 12.6%, which is higher than the 11% that the polls originally projected.
We turn now to sports to help us sort it out. We have Josh Croup in studio. Josh?
Thanks, guys, and there is a lot to sort out because President Donald Trump caused the sports world to get out of its lane last weekend, as we talked about at the top of the show. The president called out multiple athletes at a rally in Alabama and on social media, including the entire National Football League. Trump said that the NFL owners should fire players who decide to kneel during the national anthem. The form of protest began last year when San Francisco's Colin Kaepernick knelt during the anthem, protesting police brutality, among other social issues. Other players have since followed his lead, but President Trump's word this weekend prompted a weekend full of protests in the NFL. Some teams, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, avoided coming out for the anthem altogether. Others stood in solidarity on the sidelines, while some had several players take knees. Throughout the league, everyone from owners to players spoke out against Trump's words, including some of his longtime supporters and friends, like Patriots quarterback Tom Brady and owner Robert Kraft. Now, the NFL wasn't alone in speaking out against the president. The Golden State Warriors planned to meet as a team to discuss its upcoming White House visit as winner of the last year's NBA championship. Warrior Stephen Curry said he wouldn't attend. Well, Trump took to Twitter to say that the team was disinvited because Curry was hesitating. LeBron James came to the defense of Curry, saying that Steph already said he wasn't going to the White House. James said, quote, "Going to the White House was a real honor until you showed up." James also came to the defense of NFL athletes. He said he was angered that the president was using sports and the platform of sports to divide the country. While Golden State announced it will not attend the White House, the Pittsburgh Penguins announced that their trip is still on. The Pens have visited the White House for each of the last 2 Stanley Cup victories with George W. Bush and Barack Obama in office. The Pens said in a statement that they respect the office of the president and the tradition of championship teams visiting Washington. The team also said they respect the rights of others, including players, to express themselves as they see fit, but they feel any agreement or disagreement with the president can be expressed in different ways. Now, the Penguins' trip to the White House will come later this season, but first, the team has to prepare once again to defend the Stanley Cup title. Preseason play is underway, and the regular season is just over a week away. 1 week from tomorrow is when the season kicks off. The Penguins began their regular season schedule already, which included Sunday's game at the UPMC Sports Complex to celebrate Belle Vernon, a small little town near Pittsburgh, winning the league's Kraft Hockeyville USA contest. The Pens dropped that contest against the St. Louis Blues 4-1. Now, that same St. Louis Blues team is the one that's going to travel back to Pittsburgh next Wednesday for the season opener. 8 days from now, the Penguins will hold their Stanley Cup banner raising ceremony before the start of the game at PPG Paints Arena. Pittsburgh raised the banner last year against the Washington Capitals, winning the game in a shootout. Let's all hope for a similar result this year. That'll do it for sports. Back over to the desk with Sarah and Brianna.
Thanks, Josh. I mean, what do you think? I feel like Trump is a little bit overreacting, especially when it comes to the NFL players, because, like, it's just a regular protest. It's not anything.
It's a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
It's not like they're doing anything disruptive.
I know, but we'll see.
That's your news tonight. For Brianna McCall, I'm Sarah Gibson. Have a great night.